Joe, you make a great point about when it comes to social conservative issues and party leaders, because I'm just going to use myself as an example.
Right.
Reince Priebus, when I got engaged, congratulated me at the White House Correspondents' Weekend. Last year, Sean Spicer congratulated me on getting married to my husband. Yet they incorporated into the platform of the RNC their stance against marriage equality. So it's odd, because why congratulate me? I didn't bring it up. I didn't say, give me a congratulations, but they offered it. So it's odd, because then they'll go out and drumbeat that they're against marriage equality. So it's weird. That's the problem.
It's also tone. It's how you do it. You know, I'm sure you and I would not agree on everything as it relates to all social issues, but we can sit down and talk. The problem is everything is so confrontational, and there's so many extremes. And for you, it may be an issue where you support me on marriage equality, or I'm not voting Republican. For other gay and lesbian voters, well, that's important. But just talk to me, have a dialogue, don't disrespect me. For me, economic issues are the most important. For somebody, you know, I mean, and it's the same thing with Hispanics. The idea that Hispanics all are going to move in one direction or another based on where you stand on immigration reform. It's overly simplistic. Same thing for African Americans. But you take, and we brought up Trayvon. You take Trayvon Martin. It would have cost Republican leaders absolutely nothing, Ed Rendell, absolutely nothing, to just show a little respect. And show a little bit of sympathy.
And they didn't do it.
And speak out against the most extreme elements. Supporting George Zimmerman before they even knew the facts of the case. Now, you know, I got out early. I said some things about George Zimmerman myself I shouldn't have said, perhaps. I got overly emotional. But I'm not in office, and if I were in office, I would have apologized. The thing is, there are so many of these issues, so many of these social issues, so many of these racial issues. It doesn't cost you anything to be compassionate. It doesn't cost you anything to not whip up your base into a fury. It doesn't cost you anything to stay off of talk radio or to stay off of primetime cable news shows where you get in the middle of this divisive debate and you send a message to African Americans and other minorities that you really don't care. Hey, not only did we get slaughtered among African Americans, we got slaughtered among Hispanic Americans, and most, I think, frightening for Republicans, we even got beaten pretty badly among Asian Americans. The Republican Party right now is sending out signals.
And they're all
if you're not white, you're really not welcome in this party. And by the way, people are going to get mad at me for saying it. Look at the numbers from 2012. We could do things that don't cost us a lot. But we're not even doing it.
Was the presidential debates when that gay soldier called in and the crowd booed him, and not one of the candidates had the guts to stand up and say, hey, I don't care if you disagree with his lifestyle choices. He's out there protecting the United States of America. He deserves your respect.
And you know what? Guts. That's what this all boils down to. What we're all talking about. It's just speaking out. Mike Allen, or Mike, we started with you. I was just talking about since 2006. Republicans have grimaced and they've hidden in the corners and they've oh, what are we going to do about these people on talk radio and these people on cable news that are saying these things that are driving off the very swing voters we need to get elected to the White House again. Guts. They don't have guts to speak out against the extreme. Mitt Romney never had the guts to speak out against the most extreme elements in his party, and he lost in part because he followed extremists down a rabbit hole in Iowa in a caucus process on immigration, and he got slaughtered among Hispanic Americans because of it, and he got beaten in other areas too because he never spoke out and had that famous Bill Clinton Sister Souljah moment. That, by the way, conservatives cheered when it was a Democrat doing it to extremists in his own base.
Right, and Joe, if you don't have that moment, you don't need to worry about your debate format or your data gurus or your turnout program, because there's no way that in 2016 there are going to be fewer youth voters. There's no way that there's going to be fewer minority voters. You have to fix that math problem if you're the Republican Party.